Greetings, everyone. This is Jern Lefebvre, the author of the fantasy novel series, The Reflection series here. But today I'm not talking about the Reflection series. I'm going to talk about Poppy Playtime, about my theory of Stella Greyber being the main playable protagonist of the game series for a third time. There's a couple links to my past two Stella Greyber theory videos, in this video's description, in case any of you haven't watched them yet, or you need to watch them again to reevaluate all of the information. So, I forgot to mention this information from Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 in my previous video, so I'm going to talk about it in this video instead. It's an explanation as to why Dr. Harley Sawyer couldn't recognize Stella Greyber in the present. There's quite a bit more information to cover, so I had to write it all out on my computer again, which I'll read out loud to all of you. Here it is. So, I'm aware that Dr. Harley Sawyer said that he can't say that he remembers seeing Stella Greyber's face before in the game shortly after Yarnaby is defeated. Even though she's one of the heads of the Playtime Company, but I figured out a reason why. So, in the 11th tape recording, after Dr. Harley Sawyer's body got merged into the computer system, Dr. White tells Harley that he was expected to get some disorientation in his new form. His disorientation has probably messed with his sight, which especially showed when Harley was asking Dr. White, "White? White, is that you? Who else is in there with you?" Harley didn't seem to recognize anyone in the room until he heard their voices. He couldn't even recognize Dr. White straight away, who was positioned in front of the computer screen, until he heard White's voice. Well, considering that he is looking at the people through computer screens, television screens, and surveillance cameras that were made back in the 1990s, it makes sense that the screen's low quality wouldn't allow him to get a clear picture of whoever he sees, especially when they're further away. Well, not to mention that it took Harley some time to spot the game's protagonist inside the train's small boxcar in the beginning of the game, which goes to show that his sight is still disoriented. So I'm guessing Stella used Harley's downgraded sight to her advantage and kept giving him the silent treatment, so that he doesn't recognize her identity through her voice, especially since he wasn't fond of her in the past. Plus, it helps Stella out that most of the areas where Dr. Harley watches are either too dark or too distant for him to recognize her as easily as most of the toys have, which makes sense since the toys are looking at her with eyes built to have clear sight, instead of looking through old cameras and screens. Another detail to keep in mind is that in the 4th VHS tape, Stella said that she tried to set boundaries with Harley, but he doesn't listen to her. So perhaps another reason he doesn't recognize her is because he has always been ignoring her, especially since he considered her and her personality to be a liability to him and of no interest to him. Also, Harley often ignored lots of workers and disregarded their safety, and only focused on himself and his own evil projects. So it makes sense that he barely even remembers Stella's identity, or even cares about it. I must say that it's pretty ironic that all the toys throughout the series, except Poppy, recognize Stella Greyber's identity, while the Doctor is oblivious to her. So, with all that said, I still believe my theory of Stella Greyber being the main playable character of the Poppy Playtime series to be true. I hope my latest Poppy Playtime theory is to your liking. Feel free to let me know what you think about my theory in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for your support, especially for all of your support for the Reflection series. I really, really appreciate it all. Toodaloo for now.